still Daybreak on Trust TV, and of course, this is the newspaper segment of the program. I have with me a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper, as is customary. Now, let's start with the Daily Trust. Of course, lead story there says, bandits kill 7, abduct 13 family members in Kaduna FCT. A couple of riders there states release 51 hostages after 3 weeks in captivity. Military unveil identities of killed terrorist commanders. They must be proactive to end challenges. This, of course, is according to experts. Breakdown of identified terrorists, kingpins killed by the military from January to March 2024. So this infographic shows just that. Abubakar Mainok, aka Abu Bilal Minok, Haruna Isia Budari, Kachalla Damina, quite a number of others who have been neutralized by the Nigerian military from January to March 2024. Kudos to Ali Gaidam for the infographic there. Also, Kanu files 8-count charge against Ganduje, wife, others. That story is on page 5. Below that story, we see BUA donates 250 million naira building to Katsina Varsity. Page 22 has that story. Also, Barrow emerges acting Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament. That story is on page 24. Police escort dies on board Kaduna Abuja train. Unfortunate situation there. Read up on that story on page 16. At the top of the page, U.S. Muslim leaders reject iftar dinner with Biden as anger over Gaza persists. That story is on page 26. 2024 Hajj. Nakan Airlines sign agreement for airlift. That story is on page 7. Also, Northern elders chide tinubu over electricity tariff hike. That story is on page 30, and indeed these are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. And now we quickly move to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune leads with the story on electricity tariff. It says Senate to wade in as Northern Elders Forum knocks federal government. Consumer Protection Forum gives NERC 72 hours to reverse hike. That story is on page 3. Below that, we see Igboho sues Gani Adams over alleged defamation, demands 500 million naira damages. That story is on page 29. EFCC arraign Bob Risky for alleged currency abuse. Page 25 has that story. UCH resident doctors not part of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. working conditions. That's according to the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. Also, Ondo 2024, APC should not be polarized, party chairman warns. Ayedatiwa submits form. I am ready for any form of primary. That's according to Senator Jimo Ibrahim. Also, Enukwamei canvasses for Ondo South. Backs, okay, page 12 and page 30 has that story. And just above the masthead, we see Fubara rejects list of Rivers PDP caretaker committee, says it favors Wike's camp. This is, of course, as the rift between the governor of Rivers State and, of course, former governor and minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, goes on. Besides that, we see expectations high over Olubadan designate may be seen today. Ibadan elders, CCII meet Ladoja, other king makers. And these are some of the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. We now go to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper on Friday leads with legacy of international tourneys. How hosting mega events fail to catalyze infrastructural development. The big story is on pages 4 and 5. Slain soldiers, arms, ammunition in Okwama still missing, military says. Our story is on the news page 26. Also, 41 killed, 222 kidnapped, 88 million naira ransom paid in Kaduna, Niger. Group laments. Read up on that story on page 27. Below that, we see Naira firms as CBN auctions 652 billion Naira OMO bills at 21%. That's on the news page 3. Electricity tariff hike in crosshairs as opposition intensifies. Catch that story on page 6. Also, EFCC to arraign Bobrisky for 180.7 million Naira laundering. Catch that story on the Metro page of the Guardian newspaper. Tinubu tasks ECOWAS Parliament on unity, backs direct election. Stories on page 3. Also, police ignore court order on remand of Lagos businessman. Catch that on the Metro page 8. And Navy arrest 14 oil thieves, seizes over 210 metric tons of crude oil. That story is on page 26. Mo Abudu joins International Emmys Board, vows to champion African story. A lovely development there. Read up more on that on the Guardian news page 7. And that's about it for the Guardian newspaper. To the Vanguard this morning. At top of the page there states interest rate. PFAs hike investment in corporate bonds by 38% to 2.3 trillion naira. CBN Governor Cardoso headlines Vanguard Economic Summit amidst naira recovery. Also, Okwama killings, army recovers stolen weapons. Tinubu to Nigeria will bring inflation down. That story is on page 9. And for the lead story, tariff hike, NERC disagrees with discos over coverage areas as FG earns 137 billion naira from hike. NERC pegs forex at 1,463.3 naira to the dollar despite naira gains. New tariff not likely to affect manufacturers. That's according to MAN. It's backdoor to general tariff hike, according to consumers. So consumers feel that the increment in the tariff hike for Band A customers is just a backdoor to generally increase the tariff hike for the generality of all consumers. You can read up on that story on page 20. And also, Fubara plotting to obtain court orders to declare assembly illegal, according to Rivers APC. Padding allegations. Senate not I suspended Ningi. Akpabio replies Falana. Impeachment. Shaibu absent as panel fixes today for final adjournment. Some other stories there. Insecurity, 537 murder cases in 8 weeks, worrisome, according to IGP Egbetoku. And also, UK increases minimum wage of immigrants by 48%. And these are some of the stories, of course, on the Vanguard newspaper. And this is the much we can take as regards newspaper headlines and what's in the news today. And of course, this juncture, we wrap up today's program. It's been a lovely conversation from 8 a.m. when the daybreak started, all through the interactive session to the discussion segment. I hope that you viewers enjoyed the package today as we look forward to having you. Well, Daybreak Extra comes tomorrow, and of course, the phone lines will be open for another round of discussion. But today, stay tuned for 360 Sports, which commences at the top of the hour with Emmanuel Fashimi. It's been a lovely conversation here. My name is Sagir Ibrahim, and have a lovely weekend.